My name is Bob Taylor, and I'm your host for this segment of Our Ventura TV. I'm here today with my guest, Alondra Serna from House Farm Workers. Alondra, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, House Farm Workers.
Yes.
What is your mission?
So our mission is to support safe, decent, and affordable housing for farm workers through advocacy and education. And we are a 501c3 nonprofit that works here locally in Ventura County.
Now, Ventura County is a tough place. I mean, things like Ventura County and affordable housing just don't really go together real well.
Right, yeah, so, Ventura County, I'm a native to Ventura County. It's a slice of heaven, right?
Oh,
it
sure is.
A beautiful place to live. And a big part of that is because of our agriculture, right, and open spaces. And I think Ventura County citizens have agreed that they want to keep open space and agriculture, right, with different efforts like SOAR. And so, what we have is a community that does believe and want to keep agriculture viable. But to do that, we need to make sure we have a sustainable workforce, right? And farm workers on average make about $20,000 to $25,000 a year. Some make less, some make more. But to afford, and when I say afford, I mean not spending more than 30% of your income on housing. To afford a two-bedroom rental in Ventura County, you need to be making $70,000 a year. Yeah. So that's sort of the disconnect that we work to change, that farm workers, we need them here, right? If we're looking at it from an economic lens. Some of us look at it from a social justice lens as well, but if we want to have viable agriculture, we need to make sure our farm workers have access to safe, decent housing here in the county.
Farm workers come two ways. They come ones that stay in a certain area, and they also come with migrant. Mm-hmm. So the ones that, even the migrants that are in Ventura County, part of the time, you try to help them also.
Yeah, so Ventura County, though, there is year-round work for farm workers.
Okay.
So many of our farm workers now have been here on average for 10 years.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Some have been here for longer than that, right? But our farm workers are building families here, and they're part of our community. Their kids go to school with our kids.
I personally know quite a few farm workers, actually.
Right. So our farm workers are here. They're building families. They have made this their community as well. And so that's sort of the disconnect we're trying to address, making sure that they have access to safe, decent housing. And that's going to benefit the entire community, right? When our farm worker families have a safe, decent place to live, their children do better in school, which we know is going to improve test scores, is going to make the schools better, right? And we don't have parking issues as much. We don't have overcrowding, right? So we're seeing a lot of farm worker families, 2 to 3 families in a single family home. We see a lot of families living in garages or entire families in single bedrooms.
Yes.
And that's a real concern for all of us, right? For the entire community. And so that's what we're trying to address.
Now, you guys don't build housing, do you, of any kind, or?
So we don't build housing. We don't manage farm worker housing. What we do is we make it possible for kind of nonprofit developers and those other groups to do that by educating and informing our public officials, our decision makers, our local leaders. We advocate at those levels as well. And we also inform our general community. When a nonprofit housing site is up for vote at City Council, right? It's really important that we have political will and that we have community support. So those are sort of the areas that we focus on.
Okay, now, do you get local support in the way of dollars? I mean, it doesn't matter how many volunteers you have. You can't do it free.
Right.
So you get local support, do you get state support, do you get federal support, or where does your money come from?
We're really lucky. We have a lot of local support. So, we're a very small nonprofit. It's actually just one staff person. And then we have a very committed board of directors. You're
the one staff person, or you and one staff person?
I'm the one staff person. I'm the program director.
Wow, you guys run lean and mean.
We do. And so we do have a lot of local support. And, House Farm Workers was started in 2004. And it has a very unique start to the organization. It was actually a group of growers and agricultural people that, about 15 years ago realized there's an issue. This isn't working. We need to make sure our labor force has a place to live. And they put together a conference where 300 people showed up. And that's when they realized, wow, there's a lot of people that care about this. And so that's how House Farm Workers started. But one of the most important things about House Farm Workers, and something that really has carried on to today, is that we incorporate people that normally wouldn't talk to each other, right? So we have growers at the table, but we also have farm worker advocates that are part of our board of directors, and we have affordable housing people as well. And that's a really important piece of our kind of vision and our mission, is that we're bringing people that normally wouldn't talk to each other.
Yes, because you have to be, in this world of division these days, you have to be non-political, because everybody, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, everybody needs the farm workers here to make sure things are done properly, whether you want to admit they're here or not.
Right.
We have to make sure that for Ventura County to stay as healthy as it is, we have to make sure we have those farm workers.
Exactly.
Okay, one thing I like to talk about with people is volunteers.
Yes.
You must have hundreds of volunteers.
We do. We have hundreds of volunteers. Our model of advocacy is unique, and it's actually pretty cool. What we do is we have city groups, and we have 6 city groups in Ventura County in 6 different cities. And the groups have a leader, a volunteer leader that kind of runs the group. They meet monthly, and they do advocacy around farm worker housing and affordable housing in that city. So we have one in Oxnard, Ventura, Santa Paula, Fillmore, Moore Park, and Camarillo. And so you can imagine every city is kind of different. All of our groups and volunteers that come there are different, but we have people from city planners.
With the same main goal.
Same main goal,
right.
Exactly. But we have people coming from, farm worker advocacy groups, city officials, realtors. We have growers, different people that are coming to the table. And again, that's really kind of our mission, is we want to make sure that people that normally wouldn't talk to each other can come together and find solutions to the problem in a way that improves the situation for all of us.
How many, and I know you're going to have exact figure because it changes, but how many estimated farm workers at the $20,000 to $40,000 range, or 20, are in Ventura County?
So about 40,000 farm workers in Ventura County.
I didn't realize we had that many affordable housing things in any way, shape, or form.
So in the past, that's how many farm workers are
Right.
in Ventura County. And the need is great because we actually only have about 500 dedicated units, dedicated apartments for farm worker families right now. Okay. So those 500, those taken many years, the past 10 to 15 years to make happen. Right. And it takes a lot of work and it takes a long time. So this work isn't sort of, with just in regards to housing, it can take many years to have a development built, right? And a lot of advocacy, a lot of work behind the scenes. So we're really lucky that we have those volunteers that are dedicated to, the long haul. But yes, we have about 40,000 farm workers in Ventura County. And like I talked a little bit about just the need across the board, whether it's a unit that's dedicated for farm worker families, which is great and that's important, but we're also advocating in general for extremely low level sort of affordable housing, right. That farm workers can access as well.
Right. We all believe in that, but too many people just say, in another neighborhood, not near me.
Yes.
That's the problem with that kind of thing.
NIMBYs.
Exactly, you even got a name for them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't see, I was looking at a house in South Oxnard not too long ago, 5 bedrooms, 2 of the bedrooms were definitely put on without permits.
Okay.
And there was 19 mattresses in the house, kids and adults, 2 kind of kitchen setups and stuff. And I'm sure, I don't know that they were all farm workers, but I'm sure that's what a lot of them are doing. How much of that, and I guess I can't say how much is legal and how much isn't, because you're not going to know that. And if you, you got to be careful as to what situation people are in.
Right.
And what happens to the ones that all of a sudden don't have those places? They come screaming to you guys, and What can you do?
So a lot of the work that we do is in partnership with other organizations, as you can imagine.
Right.
Because
a lot of collaboration with just you.
A lot of collaboration, a lot of partnerships with local nonprofit developers like Gabriel Economic Development Corporation, which is very well known here in Ventura County, and they're kind of well known for also building farm worker housing, but just affordable housing in general. So a lot of what I do is connecting different groups to each other. And so we have those nonprofit developers are out there building the housing, and it's up to kind of house farm workers to engage with the community and say, we need to support what they're doing. Because you're absolutely right. What you're describing, multiple families living in a single family home, that's a real issue that is in every single Ventura County city.
And a safety issue.
A safety issue, absolutely. I'm from Moore and Moore has become a little bit more a higher income community, but I have worked with farm worker families in Moore as well that are living in garages. So it's very real, and just because you're not seeing it every day maybe in your neighborhood, it doesn't mean it's not happening, and it doesn't mean it won't affect you and impact you. So it's important that everyone in the community can come behind, the work that we're doing and be supportive of an affordable housing site. I think a lot of times when people think of affordable housing, they have sort of a very negative perspective of it, but statistics show that when an affordable housing site is built in a community, it improves so many different things. It improves, like I talked about, test scores for students. It reduces parking. I think a lot of times people think it increases it, but it means that those families are able to now move into those sites, right? So it really just is a smart decision for the entire community.
Now, do a lot of the farm workers kind of travel or stay in the same looking of housing as the low income? Because they're all low income, don't get me wrong. But we have a lot of other low income, like groups like Many Mansions. Do you work with them?
Yes, Many Mansions is another great nonprofit developer.
And I talked with them not too long ago, and some of their areas have a 5 or 6 year wait time or list. Not that it would take that long, but they have that many people on the list that it probably could if they didn't find housing in other places.
Yeah, so the wait lists are long for all affordable housing units in Ventura County, and that's why the truth of the matter is we need to build more. I know that there are some people that think, they don't want to build more housing, but it kind of goes back to the beginning when we're talking about how beautiful Ventura County is and wanting that open space and wanting that agriculture. Well, if we want that to sustain and we want that agriculture to be viable for the future and for future generations, we have to house our farm workers.
We got 1 minute left, and I got 2 questions, so we're going to have to make them fast.
Okay.
Now, why don't we designate 40 acres outside of Santa Paula somewhere for tiny housing? I mean, I could very easily personally live in 200 square feet if I had a wife or even with a child. 'Cause you see people buying those tiny houses all the time with kids and everything, so that'd be question number 1. Do you ever get involved with that kind of thing or hear talk about that kind of thing?
Yeah, we do. So a lot of the conversations at the local level in our city groups and our volunteer city groups is innovative housing and thinking outside the box when it comes to housing. So absolutely, we're supportive of looking at tiny homes, micro apartments, that sort of thing to try to alleviate the issue, right? We're not stuck on one model. It's like, how can we address this issue in a number of ways?
Okay, we got 20 seconds left.
Okay.
Why didn't we talk about that you want the audience to know? How do they find you and how do they help you?
Well, our website is www.housefarmworkers.org, and they can go on the website and kind of see a lot of the different programs we have, including scholarships for farm worker kids, an immersion program with CSU Channel Islands. So we do a lot of different type of educational work as well.
Well, thank you very much for being here, Alondra.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
My name is Bob Taylor. I've been here today with my guest, Alondra Serna, from House Farm Workers. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks.